Good morning, everybody. Camarda right here, right now, in the present of now. The topic of today, super interesting. We have a wonderful special guest coming now pretty soon. And topic of today, when you reach the bottom. What's happening when you reach the bottom? And um, and it's really super interesting topic um, that a lot of people are closer there. Here we go. We are live and waiting for the connection. I want to introduce a special guest, Kaelin Vu from Los Angeles. She have a wonderful and amazing story to share with us, and I'm so happy and grateful to be to create this kind of work together to share and help other people, because a lot of people, I've had a lot of people that are watching this um, are maybe struggling or maybe they're
Oh my
down.
gosh, we
Here we
finally got it
go.
to
We
work.
made it. We made it. We made it. Thank you
Yes,
so much to be here, Haley. I'm really happy. Finally, we made it.
yes. Oh my
And how
gosh.
you doing?
Well, I'm having a wonderful morning. It's so nice sometimes to wake up early in the stillness of the morning.
Oh, yes, morning. It's the best time of the day. Well, all your energy is up. You just wake up, and all intuition, and all
Yeah,
your energy on top, so you can have only the best idea. That's the best
yeah,
idea morning. Yeah. I'm
yes.
so happy.
I'm so excited to have this conversation and talk about, coming up from the bottom because I think that's so important. Everyone goes through times in their life when it gets really hard. And so having the resilience to get back up is really important.
Yes, exactly. And I prefer to do this topic with you because you have a really interesting story that I would love that you share with all of us, and especially because a lot of people, I bet a lot of people are struggling, and especially people that now are in this kind of bottom situation. They're touching the
Yeah.
bottom or they're closer there, because everybody in our normal life can reach this kind of situation level. When you everything is down, you can't see the light. It's kind of really hard sometimes. And what we can do, the topic of today is what we can do when we have in this situation, um, and why we have this kind of situation. The importance. A lot of people, I think, need to touch the bottom, to reach the bottom of their life, to find the best way to be their self. Don't you agree with that?
I definitely agree with that. Sometimes it takes losing yourself to find yourself. And, I really learned that the hard way. It, yeah, what, should I briefly talk about like my bottom?
Well, yeah, it's amazing how can it's the best way to share and teach other people. Again, it's
Mhm.
telling about stories. And
Yeah.
I have a lot of stories about touching the bottom and go up, but yeah, I want to start with yours because it's amazing how can people can kind of compare and um, embrace their concept of reaching the bottom with other stories, so they can minimize and take their kind of copy our
Mhm.
stories. So yeah, go ahead for sure.
Yeah, so for me, my worst of the worst bottom when I was about 17 years old. Um, and I'll just briefly go into it. I was addicted to drugs and alcohol. I had a really bad relationship with my family. Um, I had just totaled my car, and two of my friends overdosed and died. And I
Whoa.
knew that, if I didn't change my ways, then I was on the path to die too, literally. And so I knew that I had to make a change, and that was definitely my rock bottom. And so when I decided, like, there was just one morning that something happened with my family, and I was like, I need to get out of here. And and so what happened was I went to my grandma's house. I went to, like, go live with my grandma, who is like way different from my dad. My dad is like, do whatever you want, you know, not really like rules, you know. But my grandma is Catholic, and she like, um, when I moved to her house, it was like totally different atmosphere. Like I had to
Mm.
cover up with more clothes and like, so it yeah. So when I moved to her house, I started to like read more. I started to focus on myself, focus on school, and once I reached, I had to reach that low, that bottom to learn what it was to actually be myself on the flip side of getting to know myself for who I really am by, you know, healing myself.
That's kind of the healing process. And you talk about too, how can you need to reach to change? You say the word change. That's could sounds really, really hard, really kind of a strong word, but it's the only way to have a different results.
Hmm.
So how was um, hard to change for you?
Well, I think what it took was a lot of courage because I was leaving my hometown, my family, everything I was comfortable with. And I had to step into the unknown. And I think growing from a place that is in such deep pain, I mean, my whole life has been kind of painful, you know? And so I've always like my identity to that point was like I am pain. My life is pain. And so I had to grow out of that into something more positive. You know, I had to leave that in the past. And so growing from a place that is like a mindset that is my life is pain to life can actually be really great and fun, I think is one of the biggest things that I had to grow from, and overcoming a lot of fear and
Mm.
gaining a lot of independence. I think those are all things that were huge factors for me.
Oh, yeah, super, super interesting. Really, really, you took some really interesting word. And what's about the when you reach the bottom? Let's come back to I'll reach the bottom, and let's, I had some really experience. And usually, when you reach the bottom, it's night. I don't know if it's happened to you too, but I remember one night I was living in Rome in Italy. I'm from Italy, so I was living there, and I'm I'm from the south part of Italy. So I was there for 2 months, and one night I was alone without my girlfriend, without my family, and was sleeping at my house friends. And that night, I was almost crying in my bed. It was a 7 p.m. in the Saturday night, and I said, "Oh, I will never be this again."
Yeah.
And I tell so strong, so intense, with almost I was almost screaming, and then my friend said, "Knock the
Yeah.
door. Are you okay?" But that when you touch the button, you can say, "I will." You can't be worse than that. That's, I think, the key that bring you to change, because we all lives in our comfort zone, well, like you say before, and this comfort zone could be successful potential, or could be the totally opposite, can bring you in a bad mood and drugs and all this kind of addiction, or no money and frustration and poverty, etc. So
Totally.
comfort zone in any levels is a things that you feel safe, but sometimes those safety it's not good for your soul or for your life or for people
Yeah.
around you. So it's really hard to change. And when you reach the bottom, you have no choice that change. That's the only possibility. When you put in the limit, yet the only choice is change. Then when it's really powerful, reaching the bottom, because bring you to push out your comfort zone.
Mhm.
So, what's your experience about what's one of the worst night that you can tell us that can bring you in that
Yeah.
kind of position?
Well, the worst night in particular is actually another occasion than what I was just
Mm,
talking about, but this is definitely another one of my lowest lows. So I had been dealing with a lot of um, bullying in high school. This was my freshman year. I was dealing with a lot of bullying. There was just a lot going on, and my anxiety was increasingly just worse and worse and worse and worse. And I didn't deal with it. I tried to just shove it down. And there was like home problems and all sorts of pressures. And so my anxiety was just getting worse and worse, but I wasn't acknowledging it. I was just trying to stuff it down. And then one day I was in Spanish class and my anxiety just got so bad. I had to leave the classroom and I was sitting outside and I just started crying and crying like so bad. And I was I was actually feeling suicidal that day. I wanted to kill myself. Um, and I, had it dealt with the office and whatnot. But I remembered the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I remembered that night was one of the easily worst nights of my life ever. And I remember after that night happened, after I like made it through the whole, not killing myself that night, I realized if I can go through this and pick my own self up from like literally flat bottom, I can pick myself up from anything, anything, So I think sometimes it takes reaching the bottom to find courage that we didn't know we had or we forgot that we had.
oh, yes, courage is it's a fundamental to change. And yes, exactly what you're saying, that you need to this we don't know all the potential, all the energy, all the force. Sometimes when somebody that's it's closer, there's an example, that a story that I read in a book, and I want to tell you briefly, that a woman just across um, all this path that was on fire just to save his kid, and was under her potential because she was a tiny woman, and she did some really strong journey to arrive to reach baby her baby from the fire. And everybody was shocked, and she couldn't believe she just did that. But just because somebody, when it's danger is her baby was in danger, she took all this energy and put on this kind of really hard path. And so we don't know exactly how much energy we have until we need to connect some emotion to it and bring out.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful, and can make you aware that you're more than that. You can do more than that you're doing every day. Because if you did that just one day, just because somebody is pushing you, you can do more every day. That's why
Uh-huh.
you spend the energy and always excited, especially when you follow your highest value. You need motivation, have full of energy every time. And would you say the last story that you tell, that you have the other story, you have your grandma that kind of not helping you, but just use your like a guideline, to a a better life.
Yeah.
How is it important to have somebody to refer, and especially when you reach the bottom?
Um, Wait, sorry. What exactly is the question?
So, how is important to have somebody next to you? It's better to have
Oh, okay.
somebody to deal
Yeah.
with, or it's a kind of journey that you gotta do by yourself.
Oh,
How did you see?
uh-huh.
Because I think you need somebody that to follow, like a coach or a mother or somebody to refer, but you gotta do your own
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
You gotta do your own challenges.
I definitely hear what you're saying. I personally, I feel like I've gone through all of these challenges by myself with no support. But if someone does have support, that is like amazing. And please use it. You know, sometimes it could just take one person saying, I think you can do this. You can get through this. And that's all someone needs. And if you don't have someone in your corner, then know that you will be fine. You will be great too. And it's only going to make you stronger. I mean, it's great to have people with you, like so great. But you don't need, like, absolutely need to have someone with you to get through something. You
Mhm.
can get through something by yourself, and it might even be more lasting change because you're not waiting or depending on someone to fill a void for you.
So it's normal to feel alone when you reach the bottom.
Oh, totally. I think people who actually, in general, I think people reach the bottom when they are doing something that is trying to do better for themselves, just in general. And
Mhm.
often, when people are trying to do better for themselves, there are other people who want to keep them down there. And so, oftentimes, when people are trying to do better for themselves, they will not have the support of their friends or their family and the people that are closest to them. We see this very often with entrepreneurs and creatives and people that want to go after their dreams. Of course, there's a different situation for people who reach the bottom in other ways, but in general, people who want to do better for themselves often will lose the support of their friends and family. And it's unfortunate, but it's just the way it is. And so, it's okay to be alone and you're doing the right thing.
Be alone, it's a part of the journey. You gotta be alone. You gotta love yourself. You gotta be good alone with who you are. So yeah, exactly. It's a journey, and when you reach the bottom, you totally discover it. Uh, Personally, I had a lot of experience with reaching the bottom when be totally, totally alone with nobody around. And when you say, well, worse than that cannot be, but I'm not afraid if now that I'm aware of this kind of situation, I'm not afraid to be alone, to be in a challenges time again,
Yeah,
because
definitely.
every challenge that life bring you, that you yourself attract in your life, it's made to achieve some benefits in the future, whatever it could
Hmm.
be. A lot of people see challenges what negative things. What I learned, what I experiment in my own life, the challenges and bad things in general are there to support you, to keep you in a different level, to bring you in a different position, in a to bring you in a different level, different kind of energy. So bring it
Totally.
on all the challenges because after those, there's benefits. And more bigger is the challenge, bigger is the benefits that you can enjoy.
100%. Life is a balance, There's going to be some really great times and equally bad times. And finger quote the good and bad, because everything, like you said, is actually a learning lesson. And one of my favorite things, to way to look at life is to be grateful for everything that happens. There's things that can be really hard. Like, let's just say, for example, in my life, I've gotten taken advantage of like sexually many times, and you know, this has been like sort of a reoccurring thing in my life, like starting when I was little, and then like not having self-confidence growing up, and these kinds of things now. But now in the present moment, because I went through all of these things, I went through all of those challenges in my life that were just atrocious. Now I'm able to help people love themselves. And so, in a matter of fact, it was actually a blessing in disguise.
Exactly what I was thinking, what I believed. That's why I'm really happy to know your story, know you, and all your work that you're doing to put more information, more support out there to all the people that are there. That's why you started this amazing podcast, and I'm following you. And I'm really grateful that you're doing this for all the people, especially I think women. I know you're a really strong woman, so I think a lot of women that listen this will kind of take you like an example and go through their challenges.
Oh,
We can talk forever. I just want to end up here this slide, and maybe you can do more in the future because then become too long. And I just want to say a lot of things that kind of question and what you can almost advise to
mm-hmm,
people that right now is in is reaching the bottom, is all the way down, is
mm-hmm.
in dark hole
Yeah.
that can see nothing. It's in a bad situation, a lot of things going on, family, friends, jobs, especially in this coronavirus time, a lot of people are struggling and start to think negative. What you can say for those people?
Yeah. So you might notice my eyes are kind of tearing up because I always put myself in the shoes of the people who I'm thinking about, who I want to talk to. And if you're in the position right now that is where everything is just spiraling downwards, and it's just one thing after another, and it just seems like the world is on fire, just breathe. Breathe, connect with yourself, ground yourself, focus on the future. Just let the past be the past. Focus on your future. Connect connect at a higher level. If you're religious or spiritual, or you connect with the earth, whatever it is, connect with that source. And or even if you're an atheist, connect with yourself and say a prayer. Prayers definitely help. Make sure you're taking care of yourself and your needs. Drink water, eat food and nutritious food, get enough sleep. I can't emphasize that enough. But whatever you do, know that this is a stepping stone that's going to make you into a stronger person. Everything is temporary. You will have amazing times coming. Life has so much in store for you. If you don't, if you, if you right now feel like you don't have a purpose, that's okay. People find their purpose. Some people find their purpose later in life. Wherever you are in life right now is where you're meant to be. So just take a breath, have faith that everything will be okay, because it always works out in your favor.
Wow. Thank you so much. I would just want to, I can't add anything. You say a lot of emotional things, a lot of important things. So I just want to say what Brian Tracy, one of my favorite mentor, said that fear has come from a problem that is in the future or is in the past or in the future. So cannot be present. So live in the present, live in right now, what you are now, and everything will be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for your amazing interview, amazing story. Um, of course, if nobody wants to know more about all your podcasts, you can put a link down below because you gotta follow this wonderful and powerful woman. And yes, thank you
Yeah.
again. And if you reach the bottom, it's only a step to go to grow and be better. So I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the day. From Camarda is everything. Kaelin Vu is here too. See you on the next video. Ciao,
Bye.
Kelly. Thank you, everybody.